Hey everyone, this is Paul, and you are listening to season 2, episode 5 of the Generation Latino podcast. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. As you all know, I really appreciate it and it means a lot to me. So I often think about topics when I'm coming up with episodes and what I want to talk about, whether it's love, whether it's school, whether it's leadership, being Latino, being queer. And I'm always kind of brainstorming in my mind what I want to talk about. But as I was kind of going through topics, I'm always taking into consideration what my title of the show is, which is, Generation Latino and targeting the Latino audience because I'm Latino. So I know what it's like to be Latino and what other Latinos may want to hear. Right. So I thought, what are some things that have helped me in my life being Latino? And honestly, guys, like, I thought, you know what? I need to have an episode about mentors and what does it mean to have a mentor in your life? And not just that, but why it's so important to have mentors. And I think it's important for everyone to have mentors in their life, no matter how old you are. I think it's extremely important, but specifically for Latinos or any minority group. Sometimes in our lives, maybe we're not surrounded by the best people around us. And that's why oftentimes people kind of fall off the track or they have a hard time regrouping. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about mentors. So, the title of today's episode is Mentors, Why They Are So Important. All right. So, mentors, what does it mean to be a not just be a mentor, but to have a mentor? And I think it's important for both, right? Now me and being in leadership and being deep into my career, I find myself being a mentor to a lot of younger generations or even older, my young staff, if they have, any questions or they're kind of looking for answers. I am always trying my best as a leader, as a supervisor, to really, really help them out. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about why it's important to have one. And I think for me, having a mentor or multiple mentors in my life have helped me out significantly. I can tell you right now that I would not be here with any of the accolades, the success, not just career, but the degrees or anything if it hadn't been for having mentors in my life. And this is the truth, growing up Latino, growing up in a rough area, lower middle class family, there wasn't really much to look up to. There wasn't, if I'm being honest. I loved the people around me, but what I wanted to be in life or what I wanted to do as far as college and career, that really wasn't around me. So I found myself always being, I wouldn't say the teacher's pet, but I always found myself gravitating towards the teachers or the people that I knew could really, really help me, right? And no offense to anybody I grew up with, but the reality is that when you are the first, second generation, or even third generation, and you are kind of navigating yourself through life, there's not really anyone around you that's doing that. There's not really anyone around you that you can say, "Oh, that's what I want to do." And this is why I think specifically for Latinos or minority groups, it's so important to have them. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about 5 ways that having mentors can really, really help you and how they helped me along my life, my scholarly career. I mean, going through grad school, undergrad, even with my associate's degree, I've always gravitated towards people who could help me. And I think sometimes we get caught up in, oh, I can do it on my own. I can do it on my own. I don't need help. I can do all that on myself. And I'm not saying that's a bad mindset to have, but when you're navigating life and you find people who are willing to help you and guide you and mentor you, take advantage of that. People are like, well, how can I find mentors? How can I find them? Well, for me, they've been teachers, they've been professors, they've been supervisors, bosses. I even had some friends that I've considered mentors. So for me, it's guidance. I think it's very important to have someone in your life who can help you guide and navigate. I'll never forget one of my first mentors outside my high school tennis coach, who I still keep in contact with to this day, and I'll talk about him a little bit later in this episode, was one of my professors. Her name is Dr. Richter. I really gravitated towards her, and initially I was afraid of her. She was a very commanding woman. Like, she commanded your attention, and she was so strict. She was a hard ass when it came to grading, and I took her for 4 classes. I had it for mass comm, public relations, news gathering and writing, literary writing. I mean, we even went to a New York trip together. We went to a DC trip together. But when I first had her class, I was afraid of her. I was like, fuck this. I'm used to teachers that don't even care. No disrespect to my high school, but I mean, most teachers just kind of wanted to pass you and get out. So at first, I was fearful of Dr. Richter. I was afraid, but I knew she was pushing me and I knew she was challenging me. And to this day, I still ask for her guidance. I was applying for a PhD program and I asked her, "Can you give me a letter of recommendation?" And she's like, "Oh, not a problem." And that's why it's important to go from your junior college, community college. I had her my first semester ever. Mass comm was one of the first classes I took ever in college, to now her being a letter of reference to me for a PhD program. It's pretty remarkable. But I want to talk about guidance. It's so important to have someone who can help you in your life with guidance. Oftentimes, I've reached to her and several other people in my life for guidance. You know, if I have an interview coming up, or if I'm applying for a job or needing help negotiating, I am always looking for guidance. And the good thing about guidance is that when you're talking to someone or you're talking to a friend and you're talking about maybe something you may need, that person can help you. They can help guide you. And again, they're not going to give you the answer. They're just gonna help guide you, and that's why I think it's important to have a mentor for guidance. The second reason is having a mentor helps build confidence. Having a mentor will help you build your confidence. I know for me, there have been times when I do not believe that I can do something, but a mentor, whether it's Dr. Richter or my coach or a colleague, one of my really good friends, Jen, I would consider her a mentor of mine. Just going back and forth, what can I do? How should I do this? They really help build confidence. They help you. They help you remember what you've done, what you're doing. So that's one big part of having a mentor. And another important factor in having a mentor is growth. You grow from having a mentor. Those people around you that are striving for greatness, right? Like, because when you're looking for a mentor, you want someone who's going to help you grow, be a better version of yourself. And I know for me, my mentors, whether it's a high school tennis coach or Dr. Richter or a colleague or a classmate, they're pushing you. And when you're being pushed, you're growing. So that's a hard one for a lot of people, because when you're growing or you're being pushed, you feel a little uncomfortable. It feels a little foreign to you. But I'm telling you right now, you want people in your life that are going to push you, that are going to motivate you, that are going to help you grow. And that's why it's important to have mentors. So the fourth reason is you get a different perspective of not just life, but career, navigating through life. When I'm in need of a mentor or needing advice from my mentor, they always have a different perspective. Just recently, I was chatting with one of my really good friends about a potential job opportunity. And I am always in a place where I don't feel like I always have the answers. And I think that's the beauty, right, of having mentors, is that you're using them so that they can help navigate with you so that they can have a different perspective. I don't want someone to see life exactly the way that I do, but when I'm talking about the potential job opportunity, going back and forth, you're getting a different perspective. And if anyone's out there is listening and you feel like I already have all the answers, that you are really doing yourself a disservice. You can learn so much from someone's different perspective. You can. I've learned a lot from different people's perspective, and especially with the mentor, the beauty of a mentor is that they're going to help you see things that maybe you hadn't seen. You're like, "Oh, I didn't see it that way. Oh, now I see what you say." That has happened to me so often. And I just really think that when you find the right mentor, when you find the right person to help you navigate, you are really going to find out a lot about yourself as well. So, those are all great reasons on why you should have a mentor. The next reason is they know you and they have your best interest at heart. Truly, 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 you want to surround yourself with people who have your best interest at heart. You do not want to be around people who don't want the best for you, who are jealous of you, who don't see your potential. And the beauty of having a mentor is that they truly want the best for you and have the best at heart. Oftentimes, when I'm talking to any of my mentors, I am asking, and it's usually in very critical moments in my life. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not asking them for like everyday things, but if I'm at a crossroads or there's a big opportunity my way or very major life events that have happened and I need guidance on or I need just clarity on, that's when you call for your mentor. And I remember talking to one of my mentors when I was just thinking about getting a PhD, right? I mean, because that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. I'm really navigating what the next scholarly level is for me. Am I good with just my master's, or do I really want to go all the way and get my PhD? That's where I'm at right now, and I'm asking different mentors of mine, like, should I not? And they all have given me great advice, and I love that. And at the end of the day, when you have a mentor or you're looking for someone, you always want to make sure that they're not just giving you the answers, they're guiding you. That's what mentors are for. They're there to guide you. My very first mentor is my coach, is my high school tennis coach. And he was someone who I really, really challenged. And not that I meant to, but he was very much, now that I look back at it, I feel bad now, but I would give him attitude and I would challenge him. But he was such a constant, positive man in my life for 4 years. And I didn't realize that then. I didn't have that type of stability growing up. I didn't have that. He taught tennis. He was hard on me. We fought a lot. We argued a lot. And the irony in all of this is that I still talk to him to this day. I still talk to him. I consider him a huge factor in my life. I consider him someone who really, really helped me. I've said this before, but I went to a Title I high school, and a lot of people just went the wrong path, dropped out, or ended up going down the wrong path in life. But if it wasn't for me being in the sport of tennis, if it wasn't for me having a coach like him, I would have dropped out of it. I would have gone the wrong direction. But he was one of my very, very, if not the first mentor I had. And I didn't want to disappoint him. I didn't. I loved playing. At the time, I was like, God, why are you being such a dick? Like, why are you being such an asshole? I never told him that to his face, but that's what I'm thinking when he's having us run sprints and run 3 miles and do all this stuff. It was so that we could be better. He would even go out to get us more resources so we can play more tennis. He would go to the universities and have their coaches train us after school. That does something to you when you see someone doing that for you. And I still chat with him. We've worked together as well. And when I had graduated, I gave him this very heartfelt message and I thanked him. I thanked him. I really thanked him. I said, you know what? There's not many people that I can say have that they're the reason why I'm here today and why I was able to walk that stage, why I was able to, get that degree. I told him, you were one of those people. When I was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, my coach, Coach Landry, he was one of the first beacons of hope outside of any immediate family, outside of my mom or my grandmother or anything like that. And he was a mentor. He was a mentor. And I don't know how my life would have been like if I had not got into the sport and had to really learn discipline and learn what it was to shut up and listen. So that was my very first one. And it's just nice now to chat with him. He just texted me the other day. Venus Williams was playing doubles and he was like, "Are you watching?" I'm like, "Yup," because he knows I'm a huge Williams sisters fan. I mean, I love Serena and Venus Williams, but he messaged me and he's like, "Are you watching?" I'm like, "Of course I am." And we just kind of chatted about it. And yeah, so it's so important to also let your mentors know how much they mean to you. As I've gone along, I've had professors that have pushed me. I've had friends and colleagues that have pushed me. But if you're out there and you're wondering, how do I find a mentor? What does that look like? If you surround yourself with people, like minded individuals who are going to push, who are going to, motivate you, you will find one. You will find someone who you gravitate to. You will find someone who you are like, you know what? I like what they're doing. You know what? I'm going to ask them for more advice. And that's the thing, guys. If you're listening, don't be embarrassed to ask for guidance. Don't be embarrassed to ask for some help. If you need help with something, writing or anything, I oftentimes people are like, no, I don't want to bother anyone. I'm like knocking on people's doors, sending text messages like, hey, but I think that's what you need to do. And again, if you have a mentor, you are so lucky to have them. I do not take advantage of the people in my life that I consider mentors. But again, being Latino, being a minority, trust me, I say this all the time, it ain't easy. But find people, find like minded individuals. You will find them, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, anywhere, you will find them. You will. And I challenge you to not be afraid to ask, not be afraid to ask for some guidance or, hey, can you write me a letter of reference? Or, hey, I need some help with some interview questions. That's what mentors are for. And they're so important to have. I cannot stress it enough how important it is to have a mentor in your life. And trust me, people don't mind. Anytime I've asked someone for guidance, suggestions, help, people are willing to do it. The issue is, though, that not many people will ask. They won't. But I think it's extremely important to have one. I now, in my 30s, have become a mentor myself. I'm always trying to empower young women out there to use their voice, to empower themselves, to know that their voice matters. I work with a lot of young females at work, and I am constantly telling them, use your voice, you have one. Recently, we had a huge meeting, and someone from the executive team came, and I all prepped them. I was like, "Hey, when they come, ask these questions." They get here, they don't ask a question. I'm like, "Ladies, I'm telling you, use your voice. You only got one." But, they're young. I'm working with them. I'm trying, but if you're out there and you're listening and you are a mentor, continue to mentor people. Today, I was on the phone with my friend Veronica, and she's a mentor of mine. She's someone that when I'm like, "Hey, this is happening. I need advice. What should I do?" And again, I'm not calling for an answer, but I'm just calling for guidance, for perspective, because I don't want to ever get to a point where I feel like I have all the answers for everything and I'm this and I'm that. Never. The minute I get there is the minute that I need to stop. But again, if you're out there, find yourself a mentor if you don't have one. And if you're a mentor, continue. I never want to come to a space where I'm jealous or if a new person comes in, I'm being threatened. No, 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 no. There is enough wealth of knowledge to go around. The minute you start having that catty, that lack of a better word, bitchy, attitude, like, no, that's not good. Nobody wants to be around that. But get yourself a mentor. And I'm actually gonna have Dr. Richter on my podcast in a couple weeks. So I had reached out to her and I was like, "Dr. Richter, I want to have you on my podcast." But anyways, I'm gonna have her on here and I'm gonna, ask her some questions and really, really talk about her background. And she's a phenomenal woman. She's now a retired professor traveling the world. She's in Europe right now, but yeah, I recently, like I said, I asked her for some help and she was always willing to. And again, don't feel like you need to have the answers to everything. That's why we're here. That's why people are here. And that's why, honestly, I started this podcast. I genuinely want to mentor and help people navigate this crazy life. But get yourself a mentor, guys. I'm telling you. If not, I'll be your mentor. I'll help you navigate school. I'll help you navigate life and work or whatever it may be. Right? I mean, why not? But, anyways, I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great week. I hope you are enjoying the latter part of the year. I know it's going by really, really fast, but if you're going too fast, slow down. I had to tell myself that too recently. I felt like I was just going at 100 and I was like, "Paul, slow down, chill, relax. You don't have to be going 200 miles an hour." But anyways, guys, I want to thank you all and I will see you on the next episode.